a series of shows in Dallas throughout this week. And AEW is a bigger company than ROH, I think it's fair to say. In the history of ROH, this is one of the biggest gates in the history of ROH, which is a company that has been around for 21 years. And we're operating it as a peripheral operation to AEW, a complementary company in many ways. And I think it complements what we do here. And it allows us to not only feature some of the best wrestlers, but also feature a top veteran like Athena, showcase a great champion, give her a platform to wrestle young wrestlers, people that we've seen develop and get better while they're wrestling Athena, whether it was Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, and tonight, Billy Starks, who has been mentored by Athena as an 18, now 19-year-old. And I think ROH, not as big of a company as AEW, to sell roughly 2,000 tickets where we ended up tonight is phenomenal for ROH, and I'm really happy with that. And I think that's going to end up as in 21 years, one of their best gates ever. So that's right on pace with what we would expect to do for an ROH show. It's very economical. And when I say economical, and bear in mind, we do lots of shows a year. So hundreds of thousands of dollars is a lot of money for the year. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, 52 weeks a year. Think about that. That's 8 figures. That adds up. So when you can do things like loading into an arena like this and spending a great market like this, and we've had these great shows and the fans have been awesome, right? For the TV product, it's been tremendous. We're doing great. It was a great show, #1 show on cable this week, and the TV audience was fantastic for the Dynamite in Arlington. And then it was obviously a very short load to bring all the equipment here to Garland, just going down the road in the same market. So that was great. And that worked with the availability of the building, and then staying here for Collision. So we're doing 3 shows in the market, 2 AEW, 1 Ring of Honor that was tonight. The show tomorrow, Collision, in this building is the biggest attendance of the 3 by far this week. So tomorrow is going to be our biggest crowd of the week. And we save hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing it this way. And the shows have been great and the fans are awesome. And if the crowd tomorrow for Collision is anything like what we've had for Dynamite and Final Battle these last few days on Wednesday and tonight, Friday, it's going to be incredible, because it's going to be a crowd. I think, it's going to be even bigger than the Dynamite crowd and bigger than tonight's crowd, probably almost combined, honestly. And that's going to be awesome in this building. And I think it'll be really great to keep that going, because, first of all, we've built a great tradition of coming here to Dallas every December into the Metroplex and bringing great shows. But also that's a big cost savings versus, driving hundreds of miles each way, or even if we loaded into another building, it's a big savings. So that's part of the mindset. So this was actually an incredibly economical week for us. And even though the Ring of Honor show might not have sold as many tickets as the Dynamite and the Collision, it's still one of Ring of Honor's most successful shows of all time. And on the streaming service, incredibly well it performed. And we were able to, get Ring of Honor in front of for their standards going into my ownership. And, this is very consistent with the kind of crowds we've had for the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. A couple thousand people is a good Ring of Honor crowd. And that's, before I took over, you could count in 21 years how many times Ring of Honor had a couple thousand people in the building. So I'm pretty happy with it. And also AEW this year, the attendance is up year over year for Q4. So I think, Adam and John have done a great job, I think. And frankly, I will say, I shook the tree a little bit when they came in to say, you guys need to get into the markets with the wrestlers. And they've done fantastic and responded really well. And I think whether you look at Houston, Philadelphia, Chicago, and a bunch of the cities we've done in the last several months, the walk-ups have been outstanding. And actually we've done and there was another one I'm forgetting too, but we did 4 of the top 7 walk-ups. Grand Slam was huge. Grand Slam was the #1, and Grand Slam. And then Grand Slam, Houston, Philly, Chicago were 4 of the top 7 or 8 walk-ups in the history of the company for TV. And then the pay-per-view walk-ups also outstanding. The LA was the biggest LA pay-per-view was the biggest walk-up in the history of the company. So we've actually been having these last few months, really, really good success. These guys have really done a great job. The PR team and Mandy and, Danny and everybody done a great job along with John and Adam. And I think them working with the live events team, they've stepped up so that we've seen a good boost. So year over year, Q4, we're up, which is great. And so I want to keep growing. I don't know if you saw the study. From questions I had asked and it came out favorably. And there's a reason I asked, because my gut said it was true, and it was. The numbers we're doing for our tickets are not only comparable to what WCW was doing in the mid 90s, but in many cases better. Like, our numbers are better per show than WCW in 94, and I think right on 96 and 95, like right there. And I think we're ahead of one year and right behind the other, like right kind of there. WrestleTix estimates, and I'm not sure, the WrestleTix, that's their estimate. Usually looks like it's pretty close. There's times where I think he's like a couple, if it's several thousand tickets, they might be off by a couple hundred, which is a lot on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, sometimes it's 5 to 10% of the whole thing. So they are usually within a pretty good margin of error by the way he counts them. And when they did that study with WCW, I think that's a good comparison. And to be a challenger brand, there hasn't been a company like AEW that had this big of a market share since the 90s. It's really cool. And like I said, I think the juggernaut is, in many ways, that we're up against is bigger than ever and more imposing than ever. And in a digital era, when you're facing that kind of juggernaut, it's constant pressure. And I think this year we've delivered with more great shows than ever before. And it's a great time to be AEW. And so I'm really excited about what we're doing. I think certainly when you talk about tickets, some of our most exciting momentum we've ever had, the Greensboro, we talked about it on the show tonight, but today was the first day of tickets for Revolution, and we're over 11,000 tickets sold for a show on the first day. So that's our biggest for any non-first time event. I think that's going to be up there with like the first Double or Nothing, the first Grand Slam. That's one of our biggest first days we've ever done for anything in North America, and that's for a show in March. And obviously, there's tons of excitement around Sting's retirement, but certainly a huge success. And as we keep announcing more details about Sting's retirement, more details about the rest of the Revolution card, that's only going to get more successful. But we're approaching $1 million gate on the first day of that, and approaching a $5 million gate for Wembley. So I think it's important sometimes to keep perspective. And I said in my full gear scrum, but just to reiterate, sometimes we forget what a $10 million gate is. It's a $10 million gate is 10 $1 million gates in one night. It's literally $50,000, $200,000 gates in one night. Like a $200,000 gate in wrestling. It's like pretty good, but 50 in one night. That's something. And that's something we did this year. So I don't ever want to lose track of that. It's been an amazing year, and it's the most tickets we've ever sold in a year. So that's pretty great. Thank you.